Eventually, our intrepid heroes fight through the mansion and the Umbrella Laboratory and finally come to the boss fight with the Tyrant. And in this case, all of them are there. That's right, Rebecca and Chris and Jill and Burton. Wesker was not actually killed by the Tyrant, but was actually able to survive the Tyrant's attack for like a few minutes, and then was later killed by the Hunters. Although that wasn't the case, was it? I guess he had a continuity changer too.
Science has to recognize the single most important element of human existence. Letting the reins go to the unfolding is faith, 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 faith. Science has failed our world. Science has failed.
And with the Tyrant dispatched, all of our heroes leave the horrid Argyle mansion behind for a brighter future. Too bad here, though, the cameraman just did not care enough to pan the camera 6 inches to the left to establish that Rebecca made it out all right. And so that's the Resident Evil novelization. It's well written and actually follows the game a little too closely at times, and really, like with the Doom novelization, this would have made a fairly good film. But that's not what we got, was it? No, we got Paul W.S. Anderson, and we got echoes of Resident Evil, so to speak. Like, you know, the guy with the revolver. But really, that was just about it. And even if we'd gotten the Romero film, it still wouldn't have been very good. Really, why did Chris need to be a Native American farmer? The Resident Evil book series lasted for a total of 7 books, each of which were pretty good, although I have to say that the ones that weren't based on games were slightly better. Throughout the novels, Rebecca Chambers grew into her own character, and became about as much of an ass-kicking heroine as Jill Valentine. Eventually, Rebecca would receive her own game in the guise of Resident Evil Zero. A game that, for me at least, is one of the most controller-smashingly annoying games I have ever had the misfortune to try and sit through. Now you need to remember that these Resident Evil novels are just a little bit pulpy, meaning that a few things are going to be exaggerated, and a few things are going to just be downright inaccurate. Case in point? Guns. This is a cased round, meaning that the powder is sealed inside so that it is not exposed to the elements. Midway through the book, Chris comes upon some 9mm ammo that has been submerged in water, and he promptly says that they won't fire because they were submerged in water. Now, back in the day, as in the early 20th century, shotgun shells were made of cardboard and were somewhat susceptible to water. However, this is not 1912, and those were cardboard shotgun shells. Rather, they were modern brass 9mm cartridges, which should be good up until the brass rusts. And another thing, why are all the stars so lightly armed? An M9 Beretta is only viable as a sidearm, not a primary weapon. Where are all of their long arms? SWAT teams are usually dispatched into situations that normal cops can't handle, meaning that their service arms need to be just a little more powerful than a 9mm handgun. Now I know what a small number of you are going to say. They didn't know what was out there. How could they have possibly have planned to meet such hostile resistance? But here's the problem with that argument. Initially, the STARS Alpha team was going to go out to try and find some suspected cannibals. And anyone that has any uncommon sense is going to know that a 9mm is not going to cut it when you're going up against people that are most likely going to be so drugged up that they're not even going to feel the round going in them. Which is why you need some knockdown power. And besides, most regular cops in most jurisdictions carry some type of long arm with them, be it a AR-15 style or a shotgun. Really, when you go out there, you don't know what you're going to be facing, so you'd better bloody well be prepared to meet that unknown.
And there's one final thing that needs to be pointed out. This entire operation was a completely unprecedented success. Initially, the Alpha team wanted to go out and take down some cannibals. They did. Secondly, they wanted to rescue Bravo team. They rescued the sole survivor. They accomplished both of their goals underarmed and without any operational intelligence. Now that is a victory. And to top it all off, they fought several giant monsters. It may not exactly be realistic, but it is awesome nonetheless.
If you're a fan of the Resident Evil series, you're gonna like the series. If you're like me and you only like 3, 4, and 5, you're still gonna like the series. If you're just looking for a nice shoot-'em-up book, you're gonna enjoy the series. Now, here's the thing. If you don't like Resident Evil, the games, don't bother trying to play them because it's going to be very, very, very painful. But next time, we're going to be taking a look at Star Trek Dreadnought. But for now, this is General Watts wishing you good Resident Evil 4, good Dead Space, or whatever makes you happy.